In the last few days, Google has been in the news for all the wrong reasons, causing some investors to wonder, speculate, if the top dog, Sundar Pichai, will be fired, heads will roll. That is the clear perception on what could happen with Google. And to understand the news, if this is your first time tuning in, by the way, my name is Daniel. You're watching Unrivaled Investing. And so if you look at the news, it involves their Gemini AI. This is their solution to meet ChatGPT and their revolutionary AI models. So Google's pushing with Gemini. They've talked about the Gemini era. We'll talk about that in just a bit because this is revolutionary technology that Google is bringing. But some people are immediately pushing back. They're saying, well, wait a second, look at some of the solutions here that it's doing. And one of the things that it did was, you could have a text to image creation using Google Gemini saying, hey, create an image of XYZ. And people are saying, wait a second, this is woke. This is bananas. And so Google's saying, oh, okay, we're going to relaunch the woke Gemini AI image tool in a few weeks. It's not working the way we intended. And, as an example of some of the things that you've seen, Nate Silver, prominent statistician who correctly called several elections, didn't call them all right, though. He talked about how asking Gemini who negatively impacted society more, talking about Hitler versus Elon tweeting memes, he was able to replicate the fact that, Gemini struggled with what would arguably be a very common sense answer that Elon has actually added immense value to society, and one person has, killed millions of people. So been responsible for that. So, he's saying, look, he was able to replicate some of these woke claims. They need to shut Gemini down. So that's a very, it's when you have someone that's not necessarily on the tech scene calling out like, hey, look, you have an offensive product out there because of how woke you've made it. It's worth understanding that, you need to revisit some of your core values in that case. And you can see it again. Here's one Twitter profile calling out end wokeness, where they talk about how if you want images of the founding fathers, it gave you, people's skin colors that didn't match reality. And that's ultimately the challenge here, is that you want to say, look, let's embrace reality. Let's not try to apologize for your skin color, no matter what color it is, and ultimately get back to the idea of a colorblind society where you want to build things and you want to root for society and not say, hey, let's have a diversified society and force that diversification on past ideas. So you don't want to have this forced diversity, forced equity that creates real problems for society. Ultimately, you want the equal opportunity, but not necessarily the equal outcome. And when you start plugging it in, you get some very bizarre outtakes for what, this is what the founding fathers look like. I don't think so for at least the United States perspective. And so, Nate Silver following up on this point, saying Gemini is behaving exactly as instructed. If you ask it to draw different groups of people, for example, Vikings or NHL players, talking about National Hockey League, the base case is not an edge case. So what you're looking at here is, this does reflect that there's been, these groups within Google that are sufficiently corrupting this AI model that's ultimately getting rolled out to millions of people. Now, I'd argue one advantage that Google has is that they're going to get this feedback. So yes, it is painful in the short term for them. It is sort of a slap in the face, like, ugh, like, how did you, do this? But at the same time, like, why did you do this? Yet at the same time, it's, they're going to get better from this. This is, if you were to think about a fragile versus an anti-fragile approach, this is the type of thing that makes them better. So this advantage of being able to roll out to billions of people that'll provide this feedback will ultimately make their AI better and stronger, I believe, over time. This has also, this type of publicity has also gotten Ben Thompson, who pens Stratechery. This is a very prominent technology piece that's read by a lot of people in Silicon Valley as well as Wall Street. So he recently wrote about Gemini and Google's culture with a fundamental conclusion that Google needs a similar transformation. You're talking about transformation in the business, much akin to how Elon Musk transformed Twitter. Talking about 70% people layoffs. The company ought not to to tell users what to think, but to help them make important decisions. Return decision making to those who actually want to make a good product. So he's talking about, look, lay off anyone that doesn't want to make good product. I think that's super important to get back to. And that's what I was talking about. It's not about the color of your skin, folks. It's about, hey, do you want to contribute to society? And do you want to, build awesome products? And not to be apologetic on some sort of perceived, misdeed. And so that's really what you're talking about here. And this must mean, and this is a very bold call from Ben Thompson, and I believe this is part of the reason why Google stock was down 4% today, must mean removing those who let the former run amok, up to and including CEO Sundar Pichai. This is a big call. Will heads roll? Will you see the top dog at Google, fall because of this? And it's very possible. It's nothing certain here because you have significant amount of voting shares, with the original founders of Google. So I suspect they would be able to say, hey, if we want Sundar, we're going to keep Sundar. But, that comes down to Larry and Sergey. But, looking at this, you are seeing a lot of pressure to say, hey, you know what? This has gone too far. It is time to change this culture. Now, looking at their underlying results, I did a previous video on Alphabet's earnings. I mean, look, the stock sold off on earnings, but reality was the earnings were quite strong. Very reasonable revenue growth, very significant profit growth. I mean, look, their earnings per share went from $1.05 to $1.64. I wish most companies could post those types of numbers. I mean, that's fantastic. But Wall Street's also forward looking. Wall Street's thinking about the future, thinking about, wait a second, there is a dragon, an AI dragon coming to destroy the Google moat, the Google monopoly in search. And this is going to happen in the years ahead with AI. We'll talk about that risk in a second. I view the story as somewhat, I view that risk as legitimate. I certainly view the cost of search might change significantly and the user base might change significantly. So that is a risk, especially because they own that market. It's like 90% plus. But I do view that it's a very changing landscape. There's a lot of moving pieces here. For example, they will likely be a huge winner with YouTube, and YouTube is doing very well. And as, OpenAI talked about Sora, a new model where it's text to video, as more and more content creators create videos, they're going to upload that content to YouTube. So that's going to make YouTube even more powerful. That is the go-to platform as more and more creators feel empowered. So this isn't, it's not a clear-cut story that, the Alphabet, the yellow pages are going to zero because the internet's coming around. It's a much more different story here with Google because there are these different pieces, looking at the underlying business. YouTube, I'd suspect, will be a huge winner with AI. So what happens from here? What are my thoughts? First of all, quick plug. This is not financial advice. In full disclosure, I do own some Google shares. It's not my highest conviction bet. I've talked about Fairfax Financial, which is, one of my top holdings. I talked about that on this channel. You can check out that video. But also, quick plug, recently an Unrivaled Investing subscriber posted in our exclusive Discord that I've recently paid my second annual subscription and couldn't be happier. I've profited enough already to cover the next 20 years of subscriptions. It's not hyperbole. I actually did the math. That's a direct quote. So come check out unrivaledinvesting.com for yourself if you're interested in compelling investment ideas. I've tried to keep the price very reasonable. I do expect to raise it over this year over time. So that's at Unrivaled Investing. I also have educational materials at Unrivaled Investing if you're interested in, let's say, learning how to read financial statements or learn how to value stocks. So you're seeing not just Ben Thompson, not just Nate Silver, but a lot of prominent investors, starting to say, wait a second, this has just gone too far. Brad Gerstner, he's talking about the Paul Graham rule, how absolute monopolies endanger themselves. And he's talking about how they lose the self-correcting imperatives of competition. And that's what Google needs. Google needs Elon Musk level course corrections. It needs to see that type of huge employee change, where you're saying, look, we're focused on building awesome products, leading this revolution, not about imposing an ideology onto the masses that don't want to hear it, to be frank. Jason Kalinakis, he's talking about, my gut tells me there'll be a significant shakeup at Google at any moment. So you're seeing a lot of people, this was, viewed by several 100,000 people, suggesting that Google's going to get the same sort of treatment that you might see at Twitter. Maybe not as severe, the 70% layoff, but it's, they're going to talk about thousands of people of staff cuts, but it won't be for financial reasons. It'll be to remove the woke mind virus. that they're talking about here. When I look at Alphabet, thinking about how it could perform in the years ahead, I'm asking AI Ticker Chat. First month is free. See the link below. How can it perform in the years ahead, incorporating the latest financial data, looking at transcripts, and it's effectively saying, based on a range of revenue growth, range of profit margins, range of earnings multiples in the years ahead, it might be flat to nearly 200% upside over the next 5 years, which is actually very, interesting to me. This does not suggest, this sort of downside that you would expect, given the pressure that you're seeing from, Wall Street. Saying, like what's going on here, woke mind virus. And it, interestingly enough, comparing the predictions or the outlook from AI Ticker Chat versus what Wall Street analysts are predicting. Wall Street analysts are these solid lines. The bars are what AI Ticker Chat's predicting. You can see that AI Ticker Chat's actually broadly in line to even conservative versus Wall Street. Wall Street, here's the average, and you can see the average is much lower for AI Ticker Chat. And you can see how this applies to earnings, where Wall Street's much more optimistic in terms of how earnings will play out over the next few years versus AI Ticker Chat. So this would suggest to me that, if AI Ticker Chat on the upside is suggesting 200% and, and Wall Street's assuming earnings could be much higher, that would smell very interesting to worth review further, to reflect further on this business, and so I will be thinking about Alphabet in the coming months, whether or not I want to upsize a position. Not right now, personally, but, seeing this sort of, okay, AI Ticker Chat saying this, and here it is, it's saying 200% upside, and Wall Street thinks it can do a lot better. That is interesting. That is a key, data point to reflect on. I think there are a few key points, though, a few additional key points that are worth reflecting on if you're considering or thinking about Alphabet. Number one is this problem that Google has, and it is a legitimate problem. A lot of people are calling it out. Ben Thompson, Nate Silver, Tim Urban, he also called it out, comparing how different types of books were getting different types of commentary at the end based on, whether or not it promoted this sort of woke ideology that Google clearly, it's been infected with. And so it's a solvable problem. This is a fixable problem. It's about saying, hey, are we going to be forcing these values, or are we going to be saying, let's build some awesome stuff? And if the culture can go back to, we're building awesome stuff and this is not for you, and if you're not interested in building awesome stuff, bon voyage, then okay. Then you move on and you have an appropriate adjustment. That's a fixable problem. This is not terminal cancer. That's a big deal to recognize from a shareholder perspective. And they still have a lot of coals in the fire that can work out really well. Google Cloud, YouTube, those are things that are doing quite well. Search is the part that's uncertain. Their network, of ad revenue, that's been coming under pressure recently. So that is an example of possibly the moat getting filled in. So that's the first data point. By and large, solvable problem. The second key data point that I think is worthwhile for investors to consider is that, I've talked to a friend of mine who, spends over $1 million on their marketing with Google. And he's made it very clear to me that, look, he continues to own Google shares. And he makes it clear, look, there aren't a lot of better alternatives out there in terms of a ROI that you can get from a customer, acquisition perspective. And at this point, and probably for the next couple of years, this is probably the best place for millions of merchants to spend money. So that key aspect of the compelling return on investment, that hasn't been disrupted yet. What we're really talking about is the concern that it will in the future as AI gets better. And AI will get better. It clearly will. And this gets to the third key point. There's going to be a lot of change. But Google does, have a contending position. I'm a contender. They have a contending position to be a winner here in the AI revolution. I mean, just this past week, they talked about, there was an interview with Demis Hassabis, who runs their DeepMind initiatives. That's their AI lab. And he talked about how they have Gemini 1.5, which can do up to 1 million tokens, processing, digesting that. So that would be the equivalent of uploading like a series of books, a series of movies, and then asking questions about it, and then getting, effectively nearly perfect responses back. That is just world-changing type of stuff. And Demis Hassabis was like, yeah, that's just what we're letting some users play around with. We actually have a 10 million token that he plays around with. So just you're talking about libraries of data now that you can have total recall on, of like, oh yeah, and I can help you out with this based on this knowledge of all these books that it has. So it's just a matter of time until users get these incredible tools. Right now it's about, getting the cost structure down, and also, making sure you red team it and make sure it doesn't go off the rails. But you also don't want to make sure you don't, you course correct, you go too far. And that's part of the problem that we're seeing here. So I look at this and just think, there's a reason why prominent investors like Bill Ackman are still touting and pounding the table on Alphabet and Google, make it part of his core portfolio. He's saying, look, there are these core challenges, but they also have just tremendous assets, one of which is going to be this feedback cycle where they will be in the news, but you should expect to see within a few weeks a new and improved model. So I look at Alphabet. I still find it to be very interesting. I also do recognize this is an advertising business. So despite the super exciting aspect of AI, if there is any sort of impact in a recession or anything like that, that would become that would be an even greater near-term impact than AI, just because it's so economically sensitive, the advertising business. So I hope this video talking about Alphabet has been helpful for you, sharing some of these different gives and takes, what's going on, why people are calling for the top dogs under Pichai to step down. I can understand why they're doing it. I'm personally inclined to say let's see a course correction from here before you sort of force that move. But I could definitely understand why some people are saying it. So if you have a perspective on this, would absolutely love to read it in the commentary below. Thanks so much for tuning in to Unrivaled Investing.